I'm Rebecca with 1C, and this is Silent Crash. I'm currently packing for a visit to Michigan. A protest group is gathering at the Capitol on Wednesday, and I plan to be there, listening and learning. In the meantime, though, I've come across a story that cannot wait until I'm back. If you've been a Silent Crash listener before, you know that I would typically have the person speak directly to you. But going that route would involve a delay in sharing this story. And neither the woman involved nor I think that's a good idea. So let me tell you about a woman living in Lansing, Michigan. Let me tell you about Kelley. Back in 2011, a truck driver decided he wanted to take the exit off the 96 expressway at the last minute. In the process, he ran Kelley off the road. Her vehicle flipped 4 times. Kelley was ejected. Kelley's spinal cord was injured at the C2-C3 juncture, paralyzing her from the neck down. She spent a month in the hospital in Michigan, then another 4.5 months at a rehab facility in Colorado, before coming home and settling into a new normal. That normal is 2 people, a nurse and a high-tech nurse's aide, providing ongoing, round-the-clock care for Kelley's survival. Her doctor, Dr. Andary, has written a prescription for this care. Twice every day, Kelley's wound dressings around her suprapubic catheter must be changed, and her range of motion rehabilitation exercises must be carried out on her body, since she cannot move her limbs on her own. Using equipment that helps move her from the bed to the shower to the wheelchair, Kelley is bathed and dressed and fed. Right now, she has a stage 4 pressure ulcer. That's the kind of wound that goes all the way down to your bone. And that has to be treated and monitored as well, or it could introduce infection into her body and end her life. But there's something else you should be aware of. Kelley is ventilator dependent. She cannot take one breath on her own without the assistance of a ventilator breathing for her. And about once a week, the tube connecting Kelley to her ventilator fails. The nurse bags Kelley, meaning she uses a device to push air into Kelley's lungs to keep her alive, while the nurse's aide clears the problem. Remember that Kelley, because she is paralyzed, can do none of this for herself, and if it is not done, Kelley has no access to oxygen. Her husband is in poor health, which makes him unable to render care reliably either. So every day, for the past 11 years since her accident, Kelley has had a nurse and a high-tech nurse's aide at her side 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But on January 15th, that will end. I'm not exaggerating, listener. Her insurance company is aligning itself with the new care rates in place as a result of PA 21 and 22. That cuts care rates to 55% of what they were back in 2019. So whatever that nurse and nurse's aide got paid in 2019, they will now only be paid 55% of it. Kelley's case manager, like others we've heard from here on Silent Crash, couldn't find an agency able to supply nurses and techs at the slashed rate. A new case manager was brought on board last fall. The insurance company agreed to keep paying the normal rates while the new case manager got her arms around the situation. They gave her until January 15th. But the new case manager can find no care for the slashed rates either, which means on January 15th, Kelley's only option to stay alive is to go to the hospital. During a pandemic, when hospitals are struggling mightily to meet increased patient caseloads alongside massive nursing shortages. But for Kelley, it's either the hospital or death. Because, as her nurse case manager tells me, Kelley's tube is going to malfunction again. That's a given. And when it does, someone has to be there to bag her, and another someone has to fix it. Someone has to get her up each day, bathe her, dress her, feed her, perform her rehab exercises, put her back to bed. And it has to be someone that is trained in how to do this for a quadriplegic that is ventilator dependent. And if those people aren't at Kelley's side, well, Kelley's 3 little adorable grandchildren aren't going to have their overnight visits with Nana all the time. The 5, 8, and 11-year-old aren't going to be able to chatter on about their art projects and have Nana smile and listen and make them know that they're loved and paid attention to. Nana, the one they've known their entire lives as the woman who loves them and listens to them and talks with them from her wheelchair, will be inaccessible at the hospital. And if the hospital can't take her, well, Nana will be dead within a couple of weeks. Her clock starts ticking January 15th. Like me, Kelley will be at the Michigan Capitol on Wednesday. Unlike me, Kelley will be raising her voice with the edge of desperation that comes only when your life is on the line and your only hope lies with the lawmakers inside. I'll let you know what happens with Kelley and others facing the same kind of care crisis right here on Silent Crash and over on our Facebook page and our TikTok accounts. If you could hop on those social media outlets and just let Kelley know that you know about her, that you care what happens to her, I think she'd appreciate it. You can imagine how very much uncared for she must be feeling right now. I'm Rebecca with 1C, and you're listening to Silent Crash.
Follow and subscribe to Silent Crash, the quiet unraveling of Michigan's auto no-fault and the destruction of lives, wherever you listen to podcasts. For more information on what you've heard here and how you can help, visit silentcrash.net. Silent Crash is a production of the 1C Story Network. The show is written by Rebecca Seitz and produced by her and Rebecca Bond Tucker. Post-production services by Zischer LLC. This show is supported by the generous donations of concerned individuals via the Silent Crash GoFundMe effort. Learn more about the 1C Story Network at just1c.com. That's JUSTONEC.com.
The 1C Story Network, for the love of stories.